Welcome to the Yoga Therapy Hour. Today we have a wonderful human and teacher named Lee Mejewski from Canada. Lee has been practicing yoga and being yoga for many, many decades. She is a serious practitioner. And what she brings to the table is this wisdom of how to keep the spirituality in yoga, how to keep the personal daily yoga practice in yoga, and why that matters. So everything that we talk about today is around this topic of daily sadhana and what it means to commit to that, some ideas about how you might be able to work that into your day, and what are the tangible benefits for yourself and others. I hope you'll enjoy this very special episode, and let's go meet Lee. Welcome. Whether this is your first time listening to the Yoga Therapy Hour or you've been with us for an entire 3 years, we just want to say that we are ready to go deeper now. This year, we'll be studying the 8 limbs of yoga with a variety of guests, and we hope you enjoyed this season. Let's go meet our guest now. Welcome, Lee. So nice to have you here on the Yoga Therapy Hour.
Thank you for having me.
Lee, where in the world are you today?
Well, today I am home in Toronto, Canada. I am very happy after 25 years of moving and constantly traveling and being outside of Canada. 4 years in Caribbean and 6 years in India, and then traveling to Australia, here, there, and everywhere. I'm home in one place, in my own bed, and I'm very happy about that.
I'm with you on that. I just don't feel the need to travel anymore.
No.
And it kind of goes with the topic that we have today, which is one's personal daily routines, their daily practices, the sadhana for each of us. I would love to get into this today, but how do we stabilize our minds, our nervous systems, our hearts, and what does that have to do with daily practice? And for me, travel completely throws me off.
Right, because it's coming out of your routine, right? But even if you travel, you can still maintain your practices, maybe not as rigorously as you would. I've spent a total of 10 years in ashrams, studying with the guru culture, if you will. And that, I think, experience really solidified my personal need for the daily practice. Not mentioning that before I knew anything about yoga, I meditated for 15 years without any instructions. I stumbled on 10 minutes of meditation when I was extremely stressed. And somebody guided meditation for 10 minutes, and suddenly I felt, and I thought, oh, I want this. And I started to meditate half an hour, 3 times a day, simply because that was my Valium, my Prozac. I was a single parent. I was between my son and demanding work, no support from anywhere, and that was my lifesaver. So I did that for 15 years before, and then I went to ashram, and the guru said, oh, you've been doing yoga for 15 years. And I said, oh, So it's in my blood. I don't feel well if I do not maintain my practice. I consider myself and all our community very lucky because we have yoga. We have Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which in chapter 1 and 2 tell you exactly what you need to do and how you need to do this. So we have a roadmap to dealing with life. But not only dealing with life, but also with clarifying our views, with reconnecting, a roadmap to reconnection within our own divinity. And if we do this, our life becomes effortless. My life became effortless. Who has that? Like, who outside of yoga has that? That you are able to diminish the suffering for yourself. You are able to become witness to your emotions rather than be your emotion. When you are reconnecting with your inner voice, which begins to guide you and tell you, right now, I don't need to know anything. Because at the time, I will be told what to do, what to say, or what not to do.
As we were saying at the beginning, before we actually started recording, with that pause and with that inner sovereignty that we develop, we can just say, not today. I'm not going to go there today. That will be saved for another day. So tell me, Lee, this whole episode is about personal practice, personal sadhana. How do you personally define that? Because as we know, the Sanskrit language is such a beautiful language, and most Sanskrit words have multiple meanings and they're very contextual. But for you, what does sadhana mean?
Well, I mentioned Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and it's defined there. We have a variety of tools or practices which we can practice. And for me, sadhana means daily, consistent practice, which can be changed and evolve. My practice evolved from, let's say, 2 or 3 times a day to twice a day, then to once a day, and then throughout the day. Because then it becomes your attitude, your awareness in every moment, being in present moment. So sadhana is something that you are living, to me.
But within that, there is time set aside to breathe and feel and clear your mind and figure out who you are and who you are not. I mean, it could be just living it throughout the day, but oftentimes that ability is preceded by, like you said, you're a single mom.
Yeah.
It took 30 minutes 3 times a day. And I know, like the transcendental meditation people, there's 20 minutes morning, 20 minutes afternoon, that there was time set aside to be with yourself.
Well, obviously, when you have a practice and you practice consistently, then that time that you set for yourself is consistently the same time, hopefully the same place, if you can do this. Looking back, I'm a different person now because of sadhana. It changed the way I see the world. It changed the level of compassion and empathy I have. It changed my understanding of myself and of my relationship with the world, people, and situations. For better. Everything for better.
Well, let's talk about that for a moment, because so many people that we probably both work with as yoga therapists, practitioners, people want to know, who am I? But I oftentimes say that we have to figure out who we're not along the way. There's a lot of trial and error to say, oh, not that, not that. Like, it's by this process of elimination, almost like Michelangelo sculpting the block of, marble or whatever it is. And you're taking things away in order to see what's left. Has that been your experience, or is that just personal to me?
There are different approaches, right? Not that is one approach, which is very effective for many, many people. It wasn't my case. I'm looking back and I'm just thinking, I didn't have that level of awareness that I would sit and analyze not that and not that. At the beginning stages, it was stop living in my head and start connecting with my body. Then start recognizing my emotions. And then in a process, I was beginning to be a witness to emotion rather than being the emotion. And so maybe I'm just lucky because I feel that I have been guided. It almost like somebody up there would present the opportunities for me at the right time. Really. I mean, really.
It's true. The older we get, it's clear as day.
Yeah.
We are not in control.
No, absolutely not. That's our spiritual growth. And I've seen this so many times in my Beyond Cancer retreats, where I was moving from, I want this, that, the other thing, to, what do you want me to do now? What do I do now? So ego starts being more and more in service to something greater as I connect to that greater.
And I just want
divinity.
Our audience to know, like, literally that's the process of, I'm just going to be an open vessel here, and you decide where to place me, what I should say.
Yep.
It's so much easier because you don't have to wonder and strive and try to get this and try to make that happen.
But that's only possible if you find that reconnection within, I call it divinity. I don't know how to call it, but with something greater within you. Once you start connecting with that, it was a process, because I would be told, do this. And I said, no. And then it didn't turn right. So the next time I would be told, do this or say this, I would do it and it would turn right. And so then the level of demand, if you will, would increase, but also my trust would increase as well, until the point where I was told, there were two different points. First one was, I was told I was going through chemotherapy. I really had a hard time, and I was housed by the community. I didn't have home. I didn't have anything. I just came back from Caribbean, from the ashram. And so people housed me, and I had such a difficult time during the chemotherapy. And then I was told, move out. And I'm thinking, what? And the voice would go, move out, you need to be independent. And I'm thinking, I can't work. I need at least $3,000 a month to be able to live independently, rent the apartment and all that stuff. How am I going to do that? And I would argue, this is crazy. I can't do this. And finally I gave in, and things just flourished. I never missed a payment. I never was hungry. And the second was go to India. It was just after I finished my cancer treatment. I was tired, I was teaching yoga and I was comfortable. And finally I was over the hump. I just wanted to rest and I just wanted to have a quiet time. And the voice, go to India. No, I just built myself a little comfortable life. Go to India. No, I'm 61. I don't want to. If I go, I'll lose all this. I will have to come back and rebuild everything. I don't know if I have. Go to India. And it took me 6 months. And I went to India for 9 months. I didn't know I'm going to stay 6 years, But that taught me 100% trust.
I want to get back to something that I said earlier and tie it in with what you're explaining here. And that is that when I said, not this, not this, not this, it's an embodied sensation inside of you. And what I'm hearing you talk about right now is almost like a tangible voice that you commune with. But isn't there also an embodied sensation during these times of, yes, I'm supposed to go do this, but now I'm closing down. No, I don't want to, but okay, finally I let go. I'm doing it. Embodied sense feels better now. Like when you were having that discussion and resisting, was there also dukkha where you're like, oh, everything's confusing. And then, sukha. Oh, okay.
Well, what is happening is in situations like that, there is a fear, right? Ego doesn't want to let go because ego is afraid. So I am doing this because if I go to it, what do I know? I don't know anything. What's going to happen? And so I tend, and most of the people I think, tend to be reluctant and resisting any movement if they feel comfortable. There might be a little pain here and there, but if they're comfortable with their pain, they've learned to live with that. They don't want to move. There's a resistance to change anything. As I said, I needed to build this trust, but right now, if I'm told, although I like where I am.
Well, this is Yoga Sutra 215, right? That kind of have to hit rock bottom in order to be receptive to these messages and change.
Yes.
It's almost like Alcoholics Anonymous, right? That if you're too comfortable, you're going to get the knocks on the door and be like, no, I'm very comfortable. Thank you very much. Go away. So Yoga Sutra 215 is like this idea of what's it going to take to get you to be receptive to your inner divinity. You want to call it that, your sacredness, your preciousness, your connection to God, if you will. And then Yoga Sutra 216 says, what seeds are you going to plant today for the future?
Yeah, and what choices are you going to make? And who's going to make the choice? Is it going to be your ego, or are you going to listen to something greater and make the choice based on that? Because you always have the choice.
Let's talk about this, because this is exactly where I think people get stuck. Can I trust that voice? What is that voice? Has that voice led me places in the past? And then from your perspective, and you don't have to answer this, but is that actually the voice of divinity? Is that a true something out there? And your intuition, whatever you want to call it, is it really out there? That was a whole lot of questions.
Well, okay. So let's step back and let's talk about the word yoga. And word yoga is translated differently by different people. For me, yoga means state of being, unity with something greater than me. That's yoga, in my experience. And so if I am in state of yoga, then that means that I'm truly connected to something greater than I am. And all I have to do is just open myself and listen. As I said, that does not come easily. I think I'm lucky because whoever up there is talking to me, or in here is talking to me, started with very little things that were easy to follow. As I started to listen to that intuition, some people say intuition is in here, right? To me, it is coming as a voice. And so as I beginning to listen, the difficulty of task for me would be increasing. So it's almost like somebody was trying me or leading me to greater and greater development of trust in that voice. That I accredit to my sadhana. And this, what I think sadhana is for, is to reconnect to state of yoga in your own being. People are talking about nervous system modification or this modification, that one. That is all byproduct. The sadhana is for us to clear our conditioning experiences, previous and so forth, and clearing these and being able to recognize your own divinity, right? And again, I had to build it over the time, and sometimes the voice would ask for incredible things, and I would argue, and then I had to give in, and it always worked. Always worked.
We're just going to call it the voice.
This is actually what I call, this book, The Spirituality in Yoga, in which you have your story as well. That's what I called in my share in that book. Because that's what it is. And then sometimes I don't know what to do, so I send the question, what do I do? And the answer may come immediately, or it may come in a week time. So then I had to learn how to live with the question without insisting on immediate answer.
It's my timeline. Come on.
Yes. That's the result of doing sadhana. And this beautiful roadmap. Everybody can do that.
Some people are clairaudient, which sounds like what you have going on, where you hear something, words. Other people are more kinesthetic, where it's like an energetic. I met one woman who goes through her entire life in an energetic way that if as she gets closer to something it doesn't feel good, she moves away. If her aura or her energy kind of expands and softens, she moves towards it, metaphorically and actually with every single thing. And, at the grocery store, everything. So some people hear it, some people have a vision or a dream. So there's many ways that if you have a deep sadhana that it could show up, I think.
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying this is for me. And, you've asked me what it means to me. This is what sadhana means to me. And that's what the results of sadhana in my life showed, right? But I would like to mention something, that sadhana is spiritual practice, correct? We agree on that.
I agree on that, yes.
And just 2 years ago, there was a review published by Daniels and others, recognizing the role of spirituality in health outcomes, which for us is very important, right? And they looked at physical, mental, and social health outcomes. And they found out that in all cases, including longevity and coping with illness, the higher level of spirituality, the better outcomes it produces, right?
Let's take just a little pause and talk about something that's really exciting. There's a new book coming out in spring 2026 called Applications of Therapeutic Yoga in Integrative Health. It's authored by Amy Wheeler, myself, and Marlisa Sullivan. We've been working really hard on this book for about 18 months, and now it's scheduled for release in spring 2026. This text will bring together philosophical foundations of yoga, emerging research in neuroscience, and evidence-informed methods for applying these teachings in clinical and community settings. The book is designed for healthcare providers, yoga teachers, yoga therapists, educators, and really anyone seeking to clearly understand the why of why yoga works and the how, the mechanism underneath why yoga works. Your purchase of this book will help to advance the field of yoga therapy, and it will support the continued development of resources like this podcast, the Yoga Therapy Hour. And we hope it will serve both you and your clients alike. So please keep an eye out for Applications of Therapeutic Yoga in Integrative Health by Amy Wheeler and Marlisa Sullivan, coming out through Routledge Press in 2026. All right, let's get back to the episode.
So how lucky are we that we have that guidance?
Sometimes I think people think that's just too woo-woo to bring into healthcare. But I could argue that that is the thing that we could bring to healthcare, that a very easy way in, and we have a lot of research to support it.
Absolutely. Some of us. Not everybody has daily sadhana. Unfortunately, International Association of Yoga Therapists promotes sadhana as recommended, whereas it should be a core competency.
The first time our schools got accredited, we argued that back and forth that must be, and it wasn't. And I can tell you, I've taught in probably 7 different schools. A lot of people are not taking time for their daily sadhana. And that's not a judgment, it's just an observation.
But whose responsibility it is? It's our responsibility, because we are teaching, and this is something that I will be talking about at Sittard. If we are teaching people that sadhana is recommended as a self-maintenance, that's a misnomer. Then you don't understand what sadhana is. You don't understand what yoga is. right? And you're taking the whole spiritual component out of yoga. As a matter of fact, I will be talking about sadhana as core competency. It's trying to convince people. It's very difficult to stay motivated unless you have your own experience that motivates you, right? I don't know if I would be able to maintain 15 years of meditating without anybody guiding me and maintain that discipline if I didn't feel that it was solving my problem. It was helping me to cope with life.
And let's just break that down a little bit. That could be the carrot or the stick, meaning the stick is I am suffering and I have got to do something different and I need to have more self-awareness and understand why I'm making these choices. And, you know, this is all embodied as well as maybe reflecting and thinking.
Yeah.
So that's the stick. But the carrot is, and this is what I heard you say, that 30 minutes in that time where you were a single mom, you were like, whoa, or 10 minutes. I feel so good. That's the carrot. Like, what just happened in 10 minutes? How come I feel so different? And that to me is the juice that makes us want to go back. Like, oh, let's do that more.
Yes. And even my son, 10-year-old son, said, I like when you meditate because you're much nicer. You know. Yeah, it makes us better human beings. Tolle said, your state of being and consciousness affects directly other persons and the totality of consciousness.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, Lee, how do we get this point across without sadhana shaming people? I believe people are doing the best they can. They're very, very busy. They're getting pulled in all directions. How do we do this? Encourage people without making them feel badly that they're not figuring it out.
Well, I think that it starts with schools, right? What are we teaching? What are we teaching students in yoga therapy or in yoga training? Are we teaching spirituality? Are we teaching sadhana? Or are we telling them, oh, this is just a self-maintenance. When you feel tired, you do this. So education, I think, is absolutely crucial. And then once people start doing it, like why people are coming to me for the last 15 years, the same people. I have a group of students that we work together for last 15 years, and they keep coming because they feel different. So once they start understanding that sadhana is something that you need to do for the rest of your life, not for the time of study, for the rest of your life, or as long as you are certified yoga teacher or yoga therapist, then you will notice the difference, even if it's a small difference. And things will start changing in your life. But it takes time. It's not a pill for every ill, right?
You know, I was listening to a podcast this week on the Huberman Labs, and they had Richie Davidson from University of Wisconsin.
Oh, yes.
All these studies on meditation with the monks from the Dalai Lama's ashram, and they're showing that 5 minutes of meditation shows all these crazy, amazing, positive biomarker effects.
Yes.
5 minutes.
Yes.
Then you think, could I do 5 minutes 3 times a day as a start? You know how dramatically that would change your physiology? Kind of down-regulate your mind and your body and your nervous system, get happy chemicals flowing, get cortisol decreased. You are going to feel better. And then that conserves energy because you're not just running this high motor for 12 hours straight. So you come down for a while after that, you're actually conserving fuel, if you will, mental, emotional, spiritual fuel. You might get stressed out in another hour or two, but it's that up and down all throughout the day is critical. And you actually feel better by 5 p.m.
So the question is, are we teaching that in training? Are we talking to students about this in our trainings? Is IOIT promoting that type of, or is it just saying it's suggested? Do you know how much I had to fight for for a core competency mentioning yoga practice, not practice. They had practice, but yoga practice. It is now in their competency yoga practice, but it took me, I don't know, about 6 months before I was able to convince.
Because you were on the accreditation committee.
I was.
All right. So your premise is that we as yoga teachers and yoga therapists, it begins with us. We understand the value. It changes our lives. And it's only through that, what we call param, where the teacher is able to transmit it to the student, that the student is going to get it.
Well, here is what is interesting, is that therapists' qualities or teacher qualities, like conscious presence, like witness consciousness, like equanimity, a compassion, and intuition, a connection within self and accessing inner wisdom, impacts the outcome of our clients or our students. There is higher consciousness therapies create safer healing spaces. Clients feel more supported and understood. Deeper therapeutic breakthrough occur naturally, and healing happens at multiple levels simultaneously. And clients develop greater self-awareness and resilience. Now, that depends on our qualities. Forget the tools. That's where we start, because we cannot take clients beyond our own level of consciousness.
And do we have research to support a lot of that?
Yes.
Okay. You are a vibrational tuning fork.
Absolutely. There is entrainment happening. Mm-hmm. So let me tell you the story with my guru. First of all, I was meditating 15 years, but I had no idea it was yoga. He invited me to his ashram. He was saying, I would like to work with you, because I was moderating online groups, and he was very interested in that. And I thought, I didn't have a job at the time. I met him at the lecture, and I said, well, I probably could do a good job for you, but I need to know who you are, because everybody was saying, guru, 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 guru. And I'm thinking, let's just see what it's all about, right? So he said, well, why don't you come to my ashram for 3 weeks and see who I am? And I said, what is ashram? Because I had no idea what ashram was. And so I went, and, I stayed 3 weeks, and then I extended it to 3 months because I liked the place. And then from 3 months, he's asked me to stay for a year, and then we didn't think about me going back to Canada. I'm sound engineer, so I do recordings, and at the time I was producing CDs with his meditations and DVDs and all that stuff. So I had a lot of interactions with him where I needed to have him make a decision to certain things. It's almost every day. And at the beginning, I would go with a list in my head, a list of questions. And when I would come and sit next to him, suddenly my head was empty. There was nothing. It happened once, and then it happened twice. And I finally said to him, I don't know what it is. But when I come to you, all the questions that I had, that I needed your decision, are gone. My head is empty completely. So he said, why don't you write it on a piece of paper? And that's what we did at the beginning. And he would then say yes, no, and so forth. So I said, how come? What's going on? And so he explained to me that we are energy beings, right? And proximity of one energy being to another influence each other. Now, it's like with a magnet and the nails. The magnet has a strong, well-established energy, and it magnetizes the ions, or it reorganizes the nails' vibrations. And he says, that's what's happening to us. My energy is stronger than yours. It's better or easier organized, and it organizes your energy. When you are in my proximity, you become like me. or closer to my state. And that's why you've got nothing in your head.
I mean, this is the kind of guru relationship that people really wanted before all this crazy abuse happened. Like they really wanted that embodied vibrational presence of a pure being.
Yes. And again, I consider myself lucky that I was able to experience it. Then I had many, many other experiences of subtle energy, but that was the first introduction to subtle energy for me in my own experience. And now, so I want to translate it to, again, yoga therapist or yoga teacher and the client. It's our responsibility to have our energies organized in the best way by raising our level of consciousness. Because that's what it is. It's organizing our subtle energy. The higher the level of consciousness or awareness we have about ourselves and the life, the cleaner our view is, the more our ego is in service to divinity, our divinity, the better our energy organized is and the stronger our energy. And then it influences our clients in a positive way.
Just want to say something here because I've noticed a lot of this that, number one, sometimes we almost have a personality outside of session, but as soon as we step into session as a yoga therapist or yoga teacher, we can actually connect with something inside of ourselves or the divinity that it's almost like, boom, I can go there, right? So there's that. But there's also this thing that happens that is really, really hard to witness, where it's almost like an act or a mask. We step into the yoga teacher role or the yoga therapy role and we're all perfect. And then as soon as we step out, we're awful again. So I just want to name both of those things that
very true.
The role can help us step into a higher consciousness for a temporary moment in time. And we have to be careful that we don't just spiritually bypass and pretend.
Very, very, very true. Sooner or later, though, I am sure that people recognize the ones that are stepping in. I call them Sunday gurus or Sunday teachers. You know, I had a friend like that. She said, when I'm teaching, I'm in a flow, but I'm not in the flow when I live. And she didn't have sadhana. I feel that my responsibility as yoga therapist is to be at the highest level of my consciousness or awareness, whether I am with a client or whether I'm with a friend, whether it's Sunday or it is Friday evening when I'm really tired. That happens only if you have sadhana.
Mm-hmm. What else do you want to tell us about sadhana?
I want to say that it's very useful to have a mentor. Like I had Guru. Now I don't use him that much anymore because I connected to my inner Guru. But at the beginning, very useful it is to have a mentor who will help you to choose sadhana and answer any questions. Because it can go sideways, it can go different ways. And one of the things that I saw at my Beyond Cancer retreats is that I always waited till people came to me with the questions before I started to talk about healing power of yoga. So mentor is very useful and helps you avoid any pitfalls, right? But other than that, if you do it, your life becomes better. Not only your life, but those who are around you as well. As my son said, you're much nicer when you meditate. Because we were just two of us, and he would barge into the room saying, Mom, Mom, and I was meditating. So I said to him, you know, please, when I'm meditating, don't come barging in. He says, but I'd never know when you're meditating. So next day, what I see, he brought me a hat with, shut up, I'm meditating. And he handed it to me and says, why don't you wear it when you meditate? So I know that you're meditating. So those two things, and, don't be surprised when your sadhana changes. And again, sadhana is something that you do every day with pleasure. And you always do a little check-in before and a check-in after. And that makes you aware of the results of your sadhana.
Hopefully is a feeling of goodness and actually feel that embodied felt sense of, I'm okay.
Peace. For me, it's peace. Just inner peace at this time.
So, Lee, we just have a few minutes left. Tell us a little bit more about your new book that has come out. And then also if there's any offerings, do you have a website? How can we get in touch with you? All of that.
Well, the book just came out in November last year, and it is Spirituality in Yoga, Bridging the Sacred and the Human. And it's a nice story because I signed the contract with Singing Dragon for a completely different subject. I was supposed to write about chakras, and it was a very nice concept. And so when I came back home after discussion with Claire, she's asked me to present sort of the outline. And I said, no, I'm not going to present anything because I don't know what's going to come out. And by then she knew how I'm writing, right? That it's not me, it's just coming through me. And so instead of chakras, this book came out because I thought if I'm writing about chakras, I should write a little bit about spirituality and subtle energy. And when I finished, it was 100 pages. So I thought, it's a totally different book. What I also was guided to do was to present something that will bring that concept of spirituality down to earth, to our own lives. And so in that book, I have 26 stories of people like you and I and other veterans who have been doing yoga for a long time and can now sit down and say, this is what it meant to me and this how it changed my life. So that people will understand that it's available for everybody if you do it. And so I find those stories of other people very, very interesting, very interesting. There is 4 different chapters as to breaking free, the gift of yoga, inner guidance, and seeking out. And I would suggest that everybody, it's not a big book, it's 230 pages. It's a nice literature. It will give you an idea that we're not talking about woo-woo, but we're talking about something that we can use to change our lives in a very dramatic way for better. So I have a website, which is yogaforhealth.institute. And Yoga for Health is full words, .institute. And you can buy it through there. You can buy it in Amazon. You can buy it anywhere. Or you can write me and I will send you a signed book.
You work privately with people?
I work privately. I have a small group, but I tend to work now only privately, and I don't take everybody. More and more, I now skew towards mentorship. I tend to mentor people, those who are practicing yoga therapy with clients. And that is specifically for non-communicative diseases and for cancer. So that's my thing. But as far as this book is, I told you the story because I don't feel it's my book. It came through me.
Is it part of the voice?
It is. It is. I would get up in the morning, I would say, what am I writing about?
So Lee Mejewski and the voice.
Yes.
Maybe we should put the voice first and Lee Mejewski.
I would put the intuition or, the voice. In my case, it's a voice. In somebody else's, it might be a different thing, a feeling or gut feeling or whatever it is. I tend to receive a very specific instructions by now.
Do you know, Lee, it's so funny. For me, it's a fire hose. So when it comes, I actually have to stop everything that I'm doing, if possible, and just spend like 3 days getting it
Yeah,
all out. And then it's gone.
yeah.
And if I hadn't written it down, it's gone. But once I get that on the paper, then I can work with it over a number of months. But if I don't take that fire hose moment, it doesn't come back.
But it's so important that we do.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. You know, when things come, nothing is more important than that.
Yeah.
Because you are being told to be in service to something greater than you are, than your ego. Your ego wants to go for a walk. Your ego wants to have ice cream, or your ego wants to just lay down and watch TV. But when that comes, that's precious.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Lee, for being with us today. And it's always such a pleasure to talk to you. I wish you well.
Thank you very much for the work you're doing. You're doing fantastic work with university. And of course, I'm waiting for your book.
It's coming. We got a date. It's on Amazon now. And the date of release is August 10th, although you can pre-order now.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So it's called Applications of Therapeutic Yoga in Integrative Health. And we decided to go with therapeutic yoga as opposed to yoga therapy, just to broaden it out, because there's many, many ways that yoga can be brought into integrative health, all of the above.
Yeah.
But we are centering the yoga, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Sanskrit, that is centered with the neuroscience and psychology, research to back that up.
Beautiful.
So I think a lot of people do it the other way around, where they're kind of highlighting all the Western research with a little yoga on the side. Absolutely not. The heart of the book is yoga. And we actually want healthcare providers, yoga therapists, yoga teachers to learn the deep teachings of yoga and transmit those, not the superficial version without Sanskrit. Like, if you're going to come in this pool, come get in the pool. Don't dip your toe in. Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. And as you mentioned, spirituality is our foot in the door, because other than chaplaincy, which is missing terribly, like almost 49% in US, 49% of smaller places have no spiritual support in healthcare settings, whether it's hospital or clinic or hospice or whatever it is, So if we have our sadhana, and if we are able to connect to our inner divinity or inner voice or inner intuition, we can bring this. And healthcare industry now recognizes the importance of spirituality. As a matter of fact, in 2026, just recently, came out the review of all the papers and importance of spirituality in healthcare. And so they are beginning to recognize that there is a need which is very much unfulfilled as yet. So that's us.
That's us.
That's us. If IUIT treats the sadhana as core competency instead of self-maintenance, right?
Maybe they're listening.
Maybe they listen, yes. I'm not going to go there.
Thank you so much, Lee, for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Namaskar.
Thank you, Lee Mejewski, for being with us today. It was so wonderful to hear all of your wisdom. And you're just reminding me, at Notre Dame of Maryland School of Integrative Health, we have a master's degree in yoga therapy. And we are keeping the yoga in the yoga therapy. We are keeping the personal daily sadhana in the yoga therapy. We are keeping the spirituality in yoga therapy. We're keeping the Sanskrit in yoga therapy. We do not believe that healthcare will not accept these things. We believe that if you take those things out, you no longer have yoga therapy. So the only accredited master's degree in the country is staying true to these principles, because we believe this is what makes yoga work. that your personal vibration, the way you show up, your presence is part of the healing paradigm for the client. That healing presence, is what we call it at Notre Dame of Maryland. Healing presence is one of the tools to help people heal. And that starts with each and every one of us. All right, everybody, have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for being a listener of the Yoga Therapy Hour podcast. We have done over 200 episodes, and we have had over 200,000 downloads. And we hope that in some small way, we have supported you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. If you'd like to support the Yoga Therapy Hour podcast in 2026, there's several meaningful ways you can do so. First, you can become a member of our Patreon community and donate as little as $5 a month to keep the podcast going. Your contribution helps us to sustain the depth and quality of conversations on the podcast. A second option is that you become an Optimal State mobile app member for both Android and iPhone. Again, this is about $5 a month, and we're going to start providing a lot of amazing content on our mobile app in 2026. We'll definitely want you to be part of that community. We also have a book called Applications of Therapeutic Yoga in Integrative Health. This book will be published by Routledge Publisher in 2026. It's written by Amy Wheeler and Marlisa Sullivan. We hope you'll consider purchasing this book when it comes out. Again, the name is Applications of Therapeutic Yoga in Integrative Health by Wheeler and Sullivan. For those of you who are seeking advanced training in therapeutic yoga or in yoga therapy, please consider checking out the programs at Notre Dame of Maryland School of Integrative Health. We have a MS in yoga therapy, and we also have a postmaster's degree therapeutic yoga for licensed healthcare providers that's starting in the fall of 2026. In addition, we have a comprehensive Ayurveda certificate program also geared towards licensed healthcare providers. Each one of these programs is a pathway designed to support healthcare professionals and yoga teachers and yoga therapists who are ready to integrate these teachings into clinical, education, and community settings. All right, thanks for listening, and thanks for supporting the Yoga Therapy Hour podcast.
We wish you a wonderful week. We hope that somehow, in a small way, we've contributed to your well-being so that you can go out and share that well-being with others. That's what life is all about, bringing in the goodness through you and then shining it out to the world. We need you more than ever. So let's all get out there, do good, be good, and have a great week.